What really happens to the soul in the first year after death? This question has haunted humanity for centuries, whispered in hospital rooms, pondered at funerals, and explored in countless spiritual traditions. While science can measure the moment the heart stops and the lungs fall silent, there's a deeper, invisible process unfolding, one that transcends biology and enters the realm of the soul. Imagine the final moments of life. The world grows quiet. Sometimes it's a hospital room filled with the hum of machines and the soft murmur of loved ones. Other times it's a peaceful bedroom at home, sunlight filtering through curtains, or perhaps a solitary moment. The body, which has carried us through every joy and sorrow, finally comes to rest. The chest rises and falls one last time. The heart, which has beaten faithfully for decades, grows still. In that silence, something profound begins, a process as mysterious as it is universal. At the instant the body ceases to function, something subtle stirs. The soul, the core of consciousness and essence of who we are, begins to loosen its ties to the physical form. This isn't abrupt, like flipping a switch. It's more like untying a knot, woven over a lifetime, threads of memories, emotions, relationships, and choices slowly unraveling. The detachment of the soul is gentle, gradual, and deeply personal. Near-death experiences offer glimpses into this transition. People who have been declared clinically dead for a few moments often return with stories that defy explanation. They describe a sudden sense of lightness, as if a great weight has been lifted. There's an overwhelming peace, a clarity that feels more real than anything they've ever known. Many recount floating above their own bodies, observing the scene below with detached curiosity. They hear voices, see loved ones grieving, but can no longer interact. Their consciousness remains vivid, awake, but separated from the physical shell. Spiritual traditions across the world speak of an energetic connection between the soul and the body. Some call it the silver cord, a luminous thread that binds the spiritual and physical selves. As death approaches, this cord grows thinner, its energy waning, until it finally breaks. This moment marks the definitive end of the soul's connection to the material world. Yet the process isn't always smooth. For those who die suddenly, or who are deeply attached to earthly life, the separation can be jarring, even painful. The soul may linger, confused, unable to comprehend why its cries go unheard or why it can no longer influence the world it once knew. It's like awakening from a vivid dream, only to realize the rules have changed and nothing is as it was. Emotionally, the impact is profound. Imagine someone who has spent their whole life believing that death is the end, only to find themselves conscious, floating above their own body, hearing the sobs of loved ones, feeling the vibrations of grief, but unable to reach out. It's the start of a new journey, but one without a map or clear direction. For those who have prepared themselves spiritually, this moment can be one of acceptance. The soul recognizes what the last breath, then, is not the true end. It is the beginning of a new chapter. The soul is freed from the constraints of the body, but it carries with it everything that was lived, the joys, the sorrows, the lessons learned. It leaves the body, but not empty. What unfolds next is a journey that is both universal and deeply personal. Imagine waking up in a place that feels familiar, yet everything is subtly different. The colors are richer, the sounds resonate both within and without, and the people around you seem oblivious to your presence. You try to speak, to touch, but nothing happens. You are present, yet invisible. For many souls, This is how the awakening in the subtle plane begins. Consciousness does not fade. If anything, it becomes sharper, more lucid. But the soul doesn't always. This creates a profound sense of isolation and anguish. Some souls may linger for days or even weeks, wandering near their bodies, especially when death was sudden or traumatic. The shock is so great that the spirit needs time to certain spiritual traditions, such as Spiritism, teach that this immediate post-death period is crucial for the soul's future journey. If the soul is too attached to the material world, to suffering, or to unfulfilled missions, it may remain stuck in what is called the lower plane or earth crust, a liminal state between worlds where it still feels the weight of human emotions, but lacks the means to act on them. In this state, spiritual connections become vital. Souls who cultivated self-awareness, faith, or acts of kindness during life tend to receive help more quickly. Guides and beings of light draw near, offering support and guidance. Interestingly, many people in the final stages of life report seeing deceased loved ones in their last days. These encounters, often dismissed as hallucinations, may actually be the soul's first contact with the subtle plane, a kind of pre-awakening where the call from the other side begins to be felt. In the hours immediately after death, it's common for the soul to observe what's happening with its body, the arrival of paramedics, the weeping of family members, the gathering of friends. All of this contributes to the initial confusion. The soul sees and feels everything, but is no longer part of the world in the same way. This break from reality can be difficult to accept. While time continues to tick away for the living, on the other side, time takes on a different quality. Many spiritual traditions, from Kardecist Spiritism to Tibetan Buddhism and esoteric Hinduism, speak of the first 7 days after death as a passage, an energetic corridor in which the soul remains close to the material world. After the initial shock of realizing it is outside the body, the soul seeks familiar references. Some linger at the bedside or in the hospital room, watching doctors and nurses go about their tasks. Others follow their loved ones, hovering above cars as they travel to the funeral, the temple, or the cemetery. The soul is no longer bound by urgency, but there is an inner need to understand what has happened and to ensure that those left behind will be okay. During this symbolic interval, the wake or vigil takes on a dual significance. For the living, it's a time to say goodbye, share memories, and offer comfort. For the soul, it's the last opportunity to witness, almost from the front row, the impact of their departure. Every tear, every word of gratitude, every smile tinged with longing shapes the soul's understanding of the legacy it leaves behind. Sensitive individuals, such as mediums, often report feeling a gentle breeze, a chill, or a sweet presence moving among the mourners. These are signs that the soul is present, navigating the human ritual it belonged to just yesterday. It perceives the aromas, hears the conversations, and sees the photographs displayed on the casket. All of this helps the soul accept that its earthly journey has ended, a necessary realization, before it can move forward. Throughout these 7 days, the soul's vibration remains close to the physical world. The emotions of the living act like currents of air, influencing the soul's journey. Despair, denial, and clinging can bind the soul, confusing and delaying its release. Sincere prayers, loving memories, and acceptance act like torches, lighting the path forward. Many cultures mark the 7th day with rituals, masses, incense, gatherings, or shared stories. Spiritually, this is seen as a magnetic closure. The energetic ties that still bind the soul to its former dwelling begin to dissolve. If the soul has accepted its death, felt support, and understood its new condition, its vibration rises. A portal, described as a tunnel of light, a silver bridge, or a blue mist, opens, inviting the soul to move on. However, this process is not strictly mathematical. Some souls pass through this stage in a matter of hours, while others, weighed down by attachment, linger for months. The 7-day period functions less as a deadline and more as a symbolic cycle, echoing the phases of the moon or the musical scale. Once this cycle is complete, the soul is ready to move away from the dense frequency of Earth and enter more subtle transitional realms. For those left behind, knowing that their loved one can still sense their emotions can transform the experience of grief, turning pain into gratitude, sharing stories that celebrate the departed's life, praying, or simply sending love can contribute to the soul's peace. For those contemplating their own mortality, understanding this 7-day corridor can inspire a life with fewer regrets, more forgiveness, and stronger connections, qualities that will ease their own transition when the time comes. After the first 7 days, marked by the soul's strong presence near the physical plane, a quieter but equally profound stage begins, the 40 days of farewell. This period is found in many spiritual traditions, from Christianity to Islam to Eastern philosophies. It is during these 40 days that the soul truly begins to detach from the ties of material life and embarks on a process of review, healing, and liberation. During these 40 days, the soul is said to revisit the key moments of its life. It experiences a panoramic review, not as a passive observer, but as a participant who feels the emotions, intentions, and consequences of every action. This is not a judgment imposed from outside, but a self-assessment, a deep reckoning with the life just lived. The soul relives moments of kindness and love, feeling the warmth and gratitude they generated. It also faces the pain it caused, experiencing the ripple effects of its actions on others. This review is both illuminating and healing, offering the soul a chance to understand, to forgive, and to let go. The process is supported by spiritual guides, loved ones who have passed before, and beings of light. Their presence is gentle, non-judgmental, and compassionate. They help the soul process regrets, release attachments, and prepare for the next stage of its journey. For some, this period is a time of great peace and acceptance. For others, especially those who struggled with guilt or unresolved issues, it can be challenging. Yet the purpose is always growth, healing, and liberation. As the 40 days draw to a close, the soul's connection to the material world grows weaker. The energetic ties that once bound it to places, possessions, and relationships dissolve. The soul's vibration rises, and it becomes ready to move into higher realms of existence. Some traditions describe this as entering the astral world, the bardo, or the intermediate state, a realm of learning, healing, and preparation for the next phase. But the journey doesn't end here. The first year after death is seen in many cultures as a time of continued transition and adjustment. The soul, now free from the physical body, continues to evolve. It may spend time in realms of light, meeting with loved ones, learning from spiritual teachers, and preparing for its next incarnation or stage of existence. The experiences of the first year are shaped by the life that was lived. the attachments that remain, and the soul's readiness to move forward. For the living, the first year is marked by rituals of remembrance, anniversaries, prayers, and gatherings that honor the departed. These acts serve not only to comfort the grieving, but also to support the soul's journey. The love, gratitude, and prayers of those left behind are said to reach across the veil, offering light and encouragement to the soul as it continues its path. Ultimately, the journey of the soul after death is a story of transformation. It is a passage from one state of being to another, guided by love, shaped by experience, and illuminated by the wisdom gained along the way. The first year after death is not an end, but a beginning, a time of release, healing, and preparation for whatever lies beyond. In reflecting on this journey, we are reminded of the importance of living with intention, kindness, and awareness. The ties we forge in life, the love we share, and the healing we offer ourselves and others become the foundation for our own transition when the time comes. Death, then, is not a final curtain, but a doorway, a passage into a new and mysterious adventure. So, what happens to the soul in the first year after death? It awakens, it learns, it heals, and it moves forward, carrying with it the essence of all it has been and all it has yet to become. The journey is unique for every soul, but the thread that connects us all is love, the enduring force that guides us from this world to the next and beyond.